Alright everyone, ang pag-uusapan natin sa video na to is a trade that I took sa web a few weeks back, no? Pangungunahan ko na kayo, hindi ko nasakyan yung buong move, but that's very typical naman with the way I trade, no? As I say, I always go from one level to the next, or at least I do for a majority of the time. Okay? Now, same as always, bago tayo magsimula anong discussion, yung resibo muna. I also posted tong resibo na to in my Discord channel for my students to see, no? So if you want to follow along with some of the things that I do, feel free to join yung Discord server. Okay? Nabili ko yung web in two tranches, isa at 2.46 and then another at 2.47, pero the majority of my position was filled nung 2.46. Tapos, nabenta ko at 2.8. Now, since the majority of my position was filled at 2.46, yun yung gagamitin kong point para sa discussion natin, para lang may standard price ng entry. Kasi kung kunwari each and every single time sasabihin ko pa na 2.46, 2.47, parang baka marindirin kayo, 'di ba? Very, very redundant. So for the sake of simplicity and para lang mas madali yung explanation ko, we'll be using 2.46 as our point of reference, but I wanted to be very transparent and just show you na hindi buong position ay 2.46. May small part of it na nasa 2.47 bago ko nabenta at 2.8. Okay? Now this trade lasted for 1 day. It started on May 4 and ended on May 5, 2022. So now let's move on to the charts para mapakita ko sa inyo how I did what I did when I did it. Alright, so magsisimula tayo sa discussion natin using the daily chart. But be aware na for this particular trade, we will be drilling down numerous time frames as I try to explain yung thought process ko and yung overall approach ko sa trade na to. Okay? Now, part of the reason why I'm doing this is I've received a few questions kung paano ginagamit yung Goku sa lower time frames. Dapat ba lagi sa daily or weekly lang siya? So I hope na in this video, I'm killing two birds with one stone and mapapaliwanag ko rin yun, no? Now, we're starting off here. As you may notice, web has been consolidating here, di ba? In this area, then we went down, consolidated here, went up, di ba? Medyo sumayaw ng konti, then we started consolidating in this area once again. Now, at this point, wala pa tayong nakikitang volume. Ang nakikita lang natin is meron tayong area of consolidation na nabubuo at relatively the same area kung saan siya nabuo before, meaning parallel areas of consolidation, here and here, di ba? Yes, mas pangit yung area na to mag-consolidate, but essentially, it's doing the same thing. Dito rin sa side na to, may mga lagpas. Dito rin sa side na to, may mga lagpas, and so on. Diba? Very parallel yung itsura niya. So, at that point, I was thinking na if maakuha tayo ng breakout dito sa 2.42, this could be worth trading. Okay? But I wasn't gonna trade this hanggang makuha natin yung breakout na yon. Bakit? Kasi, where price currently is, it's not yielding great risk reward para sa akin eh. Saan ako maglalagay ng stop dito? 'Di ba? Let's say somewhere here maybe. So ang layo nun, considering my stop would be at 2.08, tapos target ko 2.42 and price was at 2.31. 'Di ba? And in fact, even if sabihin natin it could have yielded decent risk reward, the actual setup itself wasn't enticing me just yet. Now, the other reason kung bakit ko ito pinansin, aside from yung parallel areas of consolidation, is because essentially nag-form tayo ng inverse head and shoulders dito sa web. Now, those who know how I trade typically know na hindi ako big fan mag-trade ng mga charts na very illiquid. However, during this time, okay, alam naman natin na mag-e-election na and there was the chance na may gumalaw based on who was favored to win or who was favored in the polls during that time. Okay? Now, from here, ano yung nangyari next? Now, ito yung nangyari. We broke out to the upside. Nag-break tayo above 2.42. Now, pumasok ako on the same candle. Bakit? To explain that, we need to go down to the 30-minute time frame. Now, tong 30-minute time frame, yan usually yung area na pinaka-lowest that I'm willing to go most of the time dito sa PSE. No? Bakit? Kasi usually lower than this, lalo na kapag medyo illiquid, ang hirap na niyang tansyahin eh. 'Di ba? Ang hirap na niyang tignan. Now, allow me to zoom in a little bit. So kung mapapansin nyo, okay, ito yung Goku setup natin. Medyo pangit siya tignan, but it's there. So, based sa turo natin doon sa Goku na video, what were we looking for? Hindi ba is magkaroon tayo ng breakout? Tapos magkakaroon tayo ng precedence pattern. Now, we already had our overall pattern that we were looking for. Sabi natin, important sa Goku na meron tayong cup and handle or inverse head and shoulders or something like that na pwede nating pagsandalan ng foundation ng trade idea natin. In fact, dito mismo sa 30-minute time frame, you will see na nabuo din siya. Alright? But even if it didn't, we knew na sa higher time frame, nandun na present na siya. So we were waiting for some type of validation, some type of proof, some type of conviction na maibibigay sa atin ng market to jump in. Right? Now, from here, we broke up, we got our precedence pattern, and dito ko sa loob ng precedence pattern na to namili. Kaya makikita nyo, 2.46 and 2.47. Diba? As I said, the majority of my position was at 2.46. Pero nung nakita ko na, tawag ito, it was going the way that we intended, bumili na rin ako ulit at 2.47. So this was the overall trade. My target here was 2.8, not the next level at 2.74. Why? Kasi nung tinitignan ko yung ladder, yung depth of market at that time, di ba? Meaning yung bid-ask, medyo bungi-bungi siya. And I felt that I could get away with putting my target at 2.8 rather than at 2.74 simply because at the time, walang laman. So bakit ako magbebenta doon sa walang laman? Siyempre, bebenta ko as high as I can bago kumapal. Okay? So at that time, 2.8 yung medyo feeling kong decent target kasi above it, medyo mas kumakapal na. Medyo mas dumadami na yung orders. So what I did was after I got in at 2.46, okay, nag-set na ako ng target at 2.8 and then my stop was, kung mapapansin nyo rito, at 2.34. Bakit 2.34? Now, ito yung dahilan kung bakit ko sinabi na we need to do multiple time frames. Kasi dito sa 30-minute chart, honestly, wala akong makitang magandang paglagyan ng stop. However, if we go down dito sa 5-minute time frame, okay, makikita nyo na ito yung 2.34. It was the last strong candle, di ba? Malakas siya na thrust candle that moved and broke out of tong 2.42 prior to price consolidating at before tayo nag-breakout dito sa precedence pattern natin. Di ba? Siya yung huling candle siya yung bumasag. Before that, kung titignan nyo, dito tayo nauuntog more or less. Siya yung bumasag. Di ba? Now, dahil wala akong mahanap na stop sa 30-minute and dahil alam ko na this was purely a momentum trade on my part, I was willing to go down a time frame or two para lang makahanap ng decent stop that will provide good risk reward. Now, for this particular trade, the risk reward was, kung i-highlight ko to, 2.83R. Meaning, had I risked 1,000, I would have made 2,830 pesos back. Had I risked 10,000, I would have made 28,300 pesos back. Okay? I prefer to look at trades in terms of R rather than in terms of percentage kasi yung percentage minsan medyo deceiving siya. Yes, ang gandang tignan na kumita ako ng 10% pero rinirisk mo pala 20%, rinirisk mo pala 30% para lang kumita ng 10% na yon. That doesn't make sense to me. So I would rather look at things in terms of R or in terms of risk reward kasi kapag ganon, malinaw magkano ba ang tinaya mo? Diba? Based dun sa tinayaan mo, magkano yung kinita mo. Kasi yung buong perang yun naman, kunyan, naglagay ako ng 100,000 or ng 50,000 dito sa loob ng trade, hindi ko naman tinataya yung buong 50,000 eh. Ang tinataya ko is a percentage or a part lang nung 50,000 na yon. Diba? So dapat, para sa akin, yun lang yung binibilang. Hence, I look at things in terms of R. So again, we had our Goku, we had our breakout, we had our precedence pattern, namili ako sa loob ng precedence pattern, we broke out, and at this point in time, iniisip ko na, kaya ko pa bang mag-add dito sa trade? Unfortunately, as you guys will see, okay, it went straight up, pumunta ng 2.73, nabitin ng konti, hindi pa ako nagbenta, then in the very next candle, na-hit na natin agad yung 2.8. And I was out of the trade, I sold my entire position, and I was done. Now, why did I sell my entire position? Bakit di ako nag-iwan ng runner? Because I don't change my mind midstream. Just because na, uy, gumana. Hindi ibig sabihin nun na, kailangan hahawaan ko na to ng pangmatagalan. From a momentum trade or from a quick trade, biglang babaguhin ko, gagawin ko siyang long term. Diba? For me, that usually ends up na masusunog ka lang eh. Masasaktan mo lang yung sarili mo. So, I don't do it. If you want to do it and you feel like it works for you, then that's all well and good, no? Pero para sa akin, it just doesn't work. So, I was out at 2.8 because for this trade, in my mind, okay, ang utak ko lang talaga was, okay, this is a momentum trade through and through. The elections weren't even done at this point. I just want to ride the wave. Once the wave was done, I wanted to be out. Now, needless to say, in this particular instance, it was an early exit. Kasi from here, as we can see, so punta tayo sa daily, no, na tumuloy talaga siya. Na we went on, and I'll exit the replay mode. And where we are now, umabot na tayo all the way here. So I was able to capitalize in this area, pero hindi ko na siya nasakyan on the way up. Na as I said sa mga reviews natin, once we broke to the upside here, I wasn't gonna chase it. Masyadong delikado. Kasi yung risk-reward hindi na maganda. Saan mo lalagay yung stop mo? Diba? Even if I went down and looked at it from yung mga very, very small time frames, which again, I very, very rarely do. I only did it in this instance kasi it was a momentum trade. And as you guys know, yung momentum trade, very, very rarely ko rin lang gawin eh. So, rare na nga yung type of trade na tinake ko. Rare pa yung type of stop loss na hinanap ko. So, I decided that this would be a good video to show para lang makita nyo paano ako nag-a-adjust kapag ganitong hindi gaano maganda yung merkado. Paano ako mag-trade ng momentum trades. And as I said, para masagot ko rin yung mga tanong na paano ko ita-trade yung mga bebemon or what have you sa lower time frames. Okay? Now, let's head back to the slides for a summary of what we did. Now, same as before, I just wanted to show you sa breakdown from a legit broker, kung baga, na yung entry price natin is yung 2.46, exit was sa 2.8, kung ilan % gain yung na-achieve natin, no? Now, as I said, ginagamit ko yung FMS to show this just because wala akong makitang calculator sa AAA. Even though for this particular trade, AAA ang ginamit kong pang-execute. Okay? So again, this is just for the purpose of being transparent and makita nyo yung final percentage gain after matanggal ng comms and what have you. Okay? So guys, dito po nagtatapos yung video natin. I hope kahit papano ay may naipulot po kayo from this video, no? Kung meron, I would really appreciate it if you give this video a like, maybe share it with your friends, and subscribe to this channel. And as always guys, maraming salamat po sa panonood. I really appreciate it. Good luck and happy trading!